Greetings and salutations, folks. Welcome back. Pierce Cavanaugh here with Sherry Dunbar for another episode of Inside Indiana Volleyball. Coach, last time we talked, we were sitting on this couch and you were discussing the increasing level of difficulty as the season goes along from tournament to tournament, really praising the abilities of the three teams you played this past weekend. Team goes in and takes care of business, 3-0 this weekend at that tournament.
Yeah, and I think we were justified in saying that. I think, Wyoming came in at 6-1, UAB came in at 7-2, and both were a little bit similar teams, and then a Tennessee State team that we hadn't seen a lot of because they didn't play the weekend before, but very, very athletic and kind of fierce competitors to play. So three competitive teams, and I thought we played probably our best volleyball on Saturday night, to end the tournament.
It was good to see just the level of play. There was a lot of balance. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. But just the level, like you talked about, was very high. Jordan Haverly wins tournament MVP. Amelia Anderson put up some pretty crazy numbers in a couple games. Katie Gallagher on the all-tournament team as well. Just what did you see from your girls that you liked, and what did you take away from this weekend?
Well, I thought the great thing is that we could have picked three different people to be on the all-tournament team too. And when you look and you actually have to think, okay, who was consistently good over three matches? There were a lot of people that were pretty consistent over three matches. So, I think what Jordan did so well for us this past weekend, and I've been trying to talk to her about her role. Her role has changed over her career. The last 2 years, she's really had to be the stud. She's had to be the go-to player all the time. And it's been a lot of weight on her shoulders, and this year has changed a little bit for her, and it's good and bad. You have to kind of look at your role and figure out, okay, how do I help this team be better? Now she's got a lot of help around her, offensively especially, and so we really talked to her about kind of being the glue of the team and the 1-6 rotation person that's in there. So her passing might be the most important thing she does to keep us in system and be able to use the versatility we have, and so getting her to really refocus kind of on what the important roles of what she can do for our program. And I thought she did that extremely well. She struggled, at Charleston. And I think kind of redefining and her just having a good week of practice just really opened her eyes to what this team can do if she's playing like she did this past weekend.
Jordan Haverly certainly large in the large-scale look at this team. We actually got the chance to talk to Paul Koncir this weekend after the final victory in the Hoosier Classic. We'll go to that now and be back right after this. All right, folks, courtside at the University Gym. Special treat for you all. Paul Koncir, one of the assistant coaches for the Indiana volleyball team, joins us. Coach, IU goes 3-0 this weekend in the tournament. Let's talk, first of all, just on a broad scope, what you and the rest of the coaching staff have done to just try and get the girls ready for the play up to this point.
Well, it's been a pretty long process. We started with a lot of new faces, 11 new people kind of overall, either playing for us that hadn't played before or new to the program. So we had to start kind of integrating all those people. We had to put together an offense that we thought really worked for us with the people we had. It's a little unconventional, but it really utilizes our strengths. So it was a long process of kind of piecing that together, and the players starting to build trust amongst themselves for how do we play and what the person next to them is going to do and how well they're going to do it. I think this weekend sort of crystallized that, where that trust and the intensity amongst the group and our ability to kind of work within our systems really came together.
We've seen that strength utilization come to the forefront. Jordan Haverly, tournament MVP, Katie Gallagher and Amelia Anderson on the all-tournament team. The offense seemed at several points this weekend to be firing on just about every cylinder it had. Let's talk about what went into fine-tuning that as this weekend rolled around.
Well, we've had some PowerPoints throughout the year. Wele Nwazi has done really well for us every weekend offensively. Morgan Leach has done really well for us every weekend. And then we usually have one other person outside of that. Shante George last weekend was really good. And now we're starting to get multiple people contributing. So last night and really all weekend, Amelia Anderson was fantastic. Where the weekend before she struggled a little bit more than usual. So she played well, and Wele and Morgan. And when Morgan was off, then Jordan stepped up. So we've had a lot of people offensively contribute and in bunches where we'll have 3 or 4 or maybe 5, and if one of those is missing, then a different one will step into place. It's been a lot of work of just refining our setting and getting Katie Gallagher and Megan Tallman, our setters, have done a great job. They've done a great job in just running the offense, building us a rhythm and some speed, and then making really good decisions inside.
Bounce has been the name of the game, and hopefully Indiana can keep that up this weekend as they head out to Carolina once again for the Big Ten ACC Challenge.
Thanks again to Paul Koncir for bringing that wisdom to the table. Paul's always fun to talk to just because of how high his level of the game of volleyball is, the understanding there, and just being able to immerse in that. It's a different experience. He seems like someone who brings a lot of valuable stuff to the table.
Well, yeah, absolutely. He and Nancy both, and to have those two that have kind of expertise in one area, and the area that they absolutely love. You know, Nancy with recruiting and Paul with training and scouting and all those type of things is immeasurable when you talk about the success you can have as a program. When someone is as detailed as he is with watching so much film and also, you know, yes, the volleyball knowledge is great, but he has a great relationship with our players. And texting them and getting them to come in, they're watching film, and they just have a really good relationship, and that helps so much. I mean, in the end, those relationships are maybe more important than anything. If we can build those and get our kids to play at a high level and help them through what can be a difficult 4 years of their life, you know, and I think he really cares so much and spends the time in order to do that.
It's something that he's talked about too, and it's something that you've discussed, consistency being an idea. I want to go back to that, because that was something you touched on last weekend as well, and last week, just being able to be a consistent squad, and we see this, I think, as well in the performance, that balance comes from that consistency of play.
Yeah, I think, you know, when we talked last week after the Charleston match, you know, they really exposed some of our weaknesses, and we kind of looked at our lineup again and where we were struggling, and based our practices last week off of that. And I think we found some more consistency with the lineup we have in there right now. Not that other people aren't going to have opportunities to play and somebody's going to have an off night and we're going to be putting different people in, but you know, I thought our pen attackers, both Amelia and Jordan, did a great job on the outside for us, and just the numbers, you know, I think right now we're second in the Big Ten in hitting percentage, and we've just never had the kills and the percentages that we're having right now in the preseason. It's not Big Ten play yet, but even just to get that over any opponent right now is a big step for us to find some versatility and consistency with getting numbers that we feel like can compete at the Big Ten level.
And speaking of that Big Ten play, that's a little further off on the horizon. First, some business to take care of in North Carolina this weekend. Duke's already seen a Big Ten opponent in Minnesota, and then you've got UNC, the Tar Heels. You take a trip there. Just talk about what you're looking forward to this weekend.
Well, I just think it's a great opportunity. We have the ACC Big Ten Challenge, so Illinois will be going down with us, and we'll play Duke on Friday night. They'll play UNC, and then we flip-flop on Saturday night. So I think it's fun to have that kind of conference rival when you take that into your final preseason weekend. So it's nice to kind of have that battle, you know, and against two very quality opponents. You know, North Carolina's ranked, I think, in 18th in the country, and Duke is, you know, their only loss really to Minnesota. So we're going to do a lot of scouting this week, but I think it's just a great opportunity for us to keep raising that level of competition prior to the Big Ten season starting. And we try to break our season up into 4 segments, you know, preseason, non-conference, and then the first round of Big Ten, second round of Big Ten, and then postseason play. And I think this is a great chance for this part of our season to end on a really high note and compete at the highest level. And that's really fun for us to think about ending that way.
It will be fun to watch, and folks, if you can't make the trip out to Carolina again, we've got you covered on IUHoosiers.com, first from Durham, and then from Chapel Hill on Friday and Saturday. Coach, I guess that's all the time we have. Thanks as always.
Thank you very much.
That'll be it, ladies and gentlemen. Be sure to check back next week for the next episode of Inside IU Volleyball. I'm Pierce Cavanaugh saying good night, travel well. Thanks for watching.